Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I'm bringing you a longer and very close competitive gameplay on Dome. I'm playing with three people that I know. I'm playing with J-Hub, who also has a YouTube channel, Das Beast, which you've seen plenty of times on this channel, and Darth Davy Jones, who you probably haven't seen any of his gameplay, but he's the guy with the beard in pretty much all of the If It Were Realistic videos that are live action. I'm using the P90 with extended mags and rapid fire, and because I always have the commentator monkey on my back, I'm running specialist and going for a Moab with it. I just kind of can't give up my specialist package because I like it so much when I actually get up to specialist, even though it's probably not, well, definitely not the best thing for teamwork. Anyway, this was a subscriber recommended class, one of the ones that you guys recommended to me on Twitter, except I screwed it up a little bit. The one that you actually recommended was just a P90 with extended mags, but I couldn't quite remember what it was supposed to be on the fly, so I put rapid fire on it anyway, and I think that ended up being a good thing because the P90 I think is the second slowest shooting submachine gun. The UMP shoots a little bit slower than it, but the P90 is surprisingly slow because in most games that's your bullet hose, that's your very fast shooting submachine gun, and I kind of liked the P90. I don't have a good reason for why I like the P90. The iron sights are pretty dependable, but the weapon is average or slightly less than average in pretty much every category except for magazine count, but I still kind of like it. Maybe it's a nostalgic kind of thing because I use this weapon in so many different games, but I don't really have a good reason for it, and that's unfortunate because I rarely use the P90, or actually I rarely use a lot of guns in Modern Warfare 3. I probably use guns more than most players because as the in-depth guy that has to get reviews all the time, I have to use all the guns to unlock all the stuff and review them, etc., and try things out. However, when it comes to actually playing, I'm pretty much stuck on my MP7, PM9 for trolling. The only shotgun I really use is the USAS, ACR, G36, things like that. Really good, tried and true, dependable, or depending on your opinion, overpowered weapons. I don't really experiment as much as I probably should, which is very sad, and the reason for this is because I became overconfident in my own way of thinking about Modern Warfare. Oh, I've seen a lot of people do this. They find the guns that they like a certain gun, a certain attachment, a certain setup, and that's really all that they use. They may not even have a good reason for it, or if they have their reasons, the constructed reasons are better than everything else. Whatever they value is higher than anything else, and there's a real lack of experimentation, which is kind of bad, and it kind of messes me up when I get overconfident in my own thinking. I miss out on experimenting and trying new things and ending up liking them. One of the things I'm going to go off on the side here and talk about is the Dunning-Kruger effect. I doubt that many of you have ever heard of this, but this is an interesting study done by Mr. Dunning and Kruger, and what they found is that intelligent people often have inferiority complexes. Like if you ask an intelligent person a question, they'll say, well, the answer is probably this, and maybe this, but X, Y, and Z could also happen, and blah, 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 blah. And you ask an intelligent person, well, how good are you at whatever your skill is? And they'll probably tell you, I'm average, I'm okay, I could use some improvement, blah blah blah. But if you find an unintelligent person and ask them questions, they'll just give you straightforward, simple answers. Like, do you think this is good for the economy? Yes. Why? Because it is, obviously. How would you rate your own skill set? They rate themselves very highly, and it's really unusual that intelligent people are usually riddled with inadequacy issues, whereas unintelligent people are very overconfident in their skill sets. That's somewhat tangentially related to this. I like to say that I was acting like the unintelligent person and becoming very overconfident in my skill set and weapon choices. Just, oh yeah, MP7 silenced is just the best thing ever, and no gun will ever compete with it, and there's no point in using anything like the P90. And like I said, that's unfortunate because the way I found the weapons that I like in this game is just through experimentation. I find a gun, I kind of look at it and eyeball the stats, and based on the stats, I'm like, well, I think that maybe this one's best for the ACOG, or this one, has kind of crappy fire rate, so put rapid fire on it, which is one of the reasons I put it on the P90. And you play with it, and you like it, or you don't. You don't give it one game, you give it 2 or 3 and try and get a feel for it. This was actually my first game with this gun, and the reason I posted is because I actually did very well. There was rapid adaptation here, because when you change your gun, when you change your setup, or even in real life, when you change your way of studying, when you change your way of exercising or doing things, or your approach to a game, or a sport, or a meta game, then you get very out of your element, which a lot of people say is a bad thing. They don't feel confident or comfortable. But when you're forced into these situations, you're forced to adapt very quickly. Let's say If I gave you something like a 5.7 silence, then that was the only gun you could use in this game, and you couldn't have any perks or anything. What you would probably do is get really, really good at sneaking up on people and positioning yourself such that when you swap back over to a regular gun, you would be an ungodly monster, unstoppable killing machine, because you just got so good at maneuvering, versus people that if all they've ever used is a sniper rifle, they're generally very, very accurate players. So when you give them something like an M16 or a Type 95 or an MK14, well, it takes them a little bit to get going. When it takes them a little while to get a feel for it, they will absolutely trash people with the MK14 because they're so good at sniping, which is considerably harder. That's why you see Grizz, when he breaks out the MK14 or the burst fire weapon, is just like unlimited headshot, 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 and it's kind of cool. So I would encourage all of you to find a class that you don't really like, to use the random class generator to ask your friend for suggestions. Go ahead and put it on and try it out for a couple of games, because you might end up liking it. And this is one in particular that I ended up really, really liking. The big thing that surprised me about liking this class is that I'm a major, major fan of silenced weapons. In any game, in Battlefield, in this game, in Counter-Strike, well, they took the silencers out of Counter-Strike, but I really, really hate being on the radar and the minimap. I hate it when people know where I am. I like being stealthy. I like sneaking up behind them, and I generally don't like to attract a lot of attention myself. Yes, there are some very cool akimbo FMG9ers on the other team. So, when I tried to use unsilenced weapons, I was pretty bad at them. I tried it with the CM901 and the M16, and I was a little bit too campy. I'd sit in the same general area and try and hold a position, and the dot keeps showing up over and over again. So obviously they know where I am. I'm not really fooling anybody. When I did this one, just like right there, I thought that I could just shoot on the dome and nobody would notice me, but the map is very small, so I just lit up on the radar like a giant target and everybody could hear me. But what I learned is that as long as I stayed mobile, the radar was actually kind of a hindrance to the other players, because it has a bit of a delay to it, and I usually only burst for a very brief period of time, so I can burst one of these guys to death and then reposition myself slightly, and when more move in, I can hose them down. That's not something I was doing at all with the silenced weapons, so it was a completely just a game-changing thing for me. It was very, very fun. It was also fun to be able to hit people at long ranges or deal damage at long ranges. I know the submachine guns aren't typically what you think of as your long-range weapons, but when you put a silencer on them, it's always going to take like 5 or 6 shots to kill, which is very, very frustrating. And with this, I was sometimes getting 3 and 4 shot kills all the way out to medium range, which was absolutely mind-blowing. And you combine that with the magazine size and the rate of fire, it turned into a very, very deadly weapon. See, J-Hub, you can see him getting angry over there. People have FMG9'd him like 3 or 4 times, so he breaks out his FMG9s to kind of FMG9 them back. This is the point where I should probably mention that there are 2 subscribers on the other team. I think they're going to end up coming in 1st and 2nd place in this game, which is also why they were playing so hard. I will always have notifications off when I'm playing online, so when I'm recording a gameplay like this, you don't see the messages pop up all over the screen of invites and people wanting to play. So when I see subscribers, I don't normally know that I'm playing with subscribers until I start getting my ass handed to me like this. Like, these guys really, really want to play, and they really want to win. And it's fun. I like playing close games. I have a team of 4, which is a bit unfair. There was a team of 2, and then another team of 2, and then some randoms on the other team. But they were good, and they put us down. Close games, I think, are the most fun kind of games because they really test your skill in a 1-to-1 even battle. You really get your money's worth out of this. It's obviously not fun when you're getting clomped and getting dumped on. People just smash you into the ground. Nobody likes losing like that. But it can also get very, very boring if you win every game. Just like the Rage Quit episodes. I referenced the Twilight Zone episode where the guy always wins at gambling, and he was a gambler, and he thought that heaven would be always winning, but it turned out to be hell, because when you can't lose, it's no fun. Same kind of thing like that. If you're just utterly destroying another team and they can't even fight back and they're helpless and hopeless, not very fun. But this, when they're definitely killing me, when they're making me work hard, when they're making me play the objective as hard as I possibly can, and we're still barely hanging on, that is a good, fun, and close games. That's what I liked about the Call of Community games. That's what I like playing against other commentators. I don't necessarily like playing against the so-called tryhards that I get matched up. Ooh, I shot a C4 and killed the guy that I get matched up with online, because they tend to use a lot of equipment that I say is cheap or, you know, not competitive, like the trophy systems and the tack inserts. That gets really, really bad. I'm actually going to show you a game probably later this week where I was using the thermal MP5 playing some tack insert people, and we just couldn't keep up with them because they had little tack inserts hidden on every map. But the subscribers were good at the end of the game. They said good game, and we ended up teaming up with them and made a party of 6 and did some throwing knife only domination with these guys later that night. And I'll probably post those videos, you know, later this week sometime, and I hope that you'll enjoy them. But subscribers, you got to wear that DRFT tag or I will not see you. I mean, it might be cool to kind of sneak up on me and make my team work for it, or if I'm playing solo, you're definitely going to make me sweat and smash me into the ground. But I'd kind of like to see some more DRFT people. If you're fans, if you're subscribers, if you want to support me, whatever, you just run the DRFT clan tag. It's not an elite clan, it's not a PlayStation or Xbox clan, it's just something you can kind of wear casually if you want to. It's not really that big a deal. I'm not like, oh, you must wear this to play with me, blah, blah, blah. We're not doing that. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this commentary, and one of the things that I've noticed on this channel, which I don't know if you guys have noticed, there's just been way too damn many promotions going on. And I mean, there's been a lot. It just so happens that I make a lot of promises to a lot of groups of people that I like to keep, but it ended up kind of coming to a head this week with the Gamma Labs video with me and Ozzy, which is like all promotions. So I think I'm just going to scale it on back a little bit, and this is the part in the game where I go absolute beast mode, trying to take that point B. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been on Specialist for a long time, and I'm actually getting really, really close to a Moab right now. I think I'm on about an 18 or 19 kill streak, and it's just a struggle to stay alive. Look how close the score is. I know I have to get in here. I have to take point B. I have to knock all these dudes out, and maybe, just maybe, if I take B and we can hold A and C, then we can win this and everything will be fine. But they're coming for me. They're coming down that alley, and ooh, headshot with the fucking FMG 9s. No! And the game is over and we lose 198 to 200. Anyway, it was still a very close and very fun game. Enjoyed it. Had a good kill-death ratio. Played with subscribers. They were cool. We hooked up with them later tonight. And that's kind of all I got to say about this commentary. Hope you enjoyed it. Drifter out.